Yo, what's up, guys? It's Noah here. I'm back on YouTube. Nearly 4 months without uploading. Whenever the NBA got shut down for the coronavirus, I believe that was on March 11th. That was the last time I've actually uploaded to this channel. I've been very inactive, which is something I kind of regret. I didn't upload at all during the coronavirus pandemic or whatever. I didn't cover any other sports. I know there was other guys out there covering like esports and golf and all that. Me personally, I try and stick to my three main sports, which are NFL, NBA, and MLB. I don't really dabble into anything else. I have been dabbling into golf, and I've actually been having a good amount of success. I do plan on playing golf regularly. I don't know if I'd ever provide content for golf, but in terms of videos on this YouTube channel, content on Patreon, I just plan on sticking to NBA, NFL, and MLB. So that's why you guys haven't seen my face in over 4 months. Whenever the NBA got shut down, I really just kind of took a break. I didn't play any DFS for a while. Whenever golf came back, I did start playing golf, but I didn't play esports. I didn't play any of the stuff, KBO, none of that, NASCAR. I just really took I would say 3-month, 4-month break from DFS. Hung out with my girlfriend a lot, just really didn't do much. But now we're back on the grind. MLB's back. I wasn't able to get videos up the last 2 days. Obviously, I did miss the first two slates. I wound up playing the first two slates, but I wasn't able to get up any videos on YouTube for those slates because I was on vacation with my family. We just got home Friday afternoon, but I'm ready to start uploading daily again, man. This channel, I want it to become active again. You know, back in March, back in February when NBA was going on, I was uploading every single day, even on the weekends. And that's something I plan on doing now with MLB back. I'm going to be uploading every single day. Hopefully, I can upload every single day, definitely Monday through Friday. But I'm going to try and get videos up on the weekends. When NBA starts back in about a week, I'm going to try and get NBA and MLB videos both up every single day. Excuse me. I'm going to try and get both NBA and NFL or NBA and MLB up every single day. Just really revive this channel, make this channel very active again. I know you guys haven't seen my face in a long time. You probably forgot who I was, honestly. You probably like, who is this guy on my YouTube page? I don't even remember this guy, but I'm ready to start uploading daily again, trying to provide you guys with the best content I can. I will be back on Patreon as well. For those of you that are subscribed to my Patreon, I've been pretty much keeping that inactive. I paused all billing on my Patreon, so if you're a Patreon subscriber, you shouldn't have been charged at all during the coronavirus pandemic. From March to now, you shouldn't have not been charged, but I will be providing content on Patreon starting Monday. I will have some core plays posted for these 2 weekend slates for Saturday and Sunday, but I'll resume like daily articles or articles Monday through Friday, core plays every day. Those will go back up on Patreon. I'll get back in the Discord chat. We'll have that active again, talking MLB every day. When NBA returns, we'll be talking NBA every day as well over in the Discord chat. If you do want to check out some of the stuff I have on Patreon, that is linked down below. As always, you can follow me on Twitter as well, which is linked down below in the description. I do try and stay very active on Twitter. Even though I wasn't active on YouTube during those 4 months, I was still trying to be active on Twitter. So you can always follow me there at DFS by Noah. And subscribe to the channel as well if you're new here. If you're someone that's maybe checking out MLB for the first time, I know these sites have been offering huge tournaments, trying to get new users to come and play MLB. If maybe you're a new user, I would appreciate it if you would hit the subscribe button. I do plan on making MLB videos every single day, trying to provide you guys with the best MLB content that I can. So what we're going to do, very similar to my NBA videos, we're just going to go through each position, not necessarily hitters. We'll talk about all the pitchers I like for this slate. Hitters, though, we'll kind of break those just down overall. I'm not going to go like catcher, first base, second base. I just feel like that's too long. I don't want these videos to be like 35, 40 minutes. I want to try and keep them around 25 minutes or less, a little bit shorter than my NBA videos. So we'll touch on the pitchers that I like for this slate. We'll talk about some bats. We'll look at stacks as well towards the end of the video. Maybe even I'll give some home run calls. That's something I want to try and do in every video, is maybe give 1 or 2 home run calls. Without further ado, let's go ahead and look at pitcher. We do have an 11-game slate on Draftkings starting from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Pretty much all the games on Saturday today are going to be during the daytime. I know there's like 2 night games, but mainly all our action is going to be during the day. So we pretty much have just a big early slate for Saturday. Yahoo, they're running something a little bit different. Their main slate is going to start at 4 o'clock and is going to go until 7:15, or actually going to go until 9:10 with the late night game between Arizona and San Diego. So just adjust accordingly. If you're playing on Yahoo, I play on Yahoo pretty much every single day. It's my favorite DFS site between the two that I play, which is Draftkings and Yahoo. I love playing on Yahoo. I've had a lot of success there. Take note, their slate is not the same as Draftkings. Draftkings includes some of these earlier games. Yahoo is not, whereas Yahoo is including some of the night games. We'll talk about some guys I like for Draftkings and Yahoo, starting off at pitcher. At the top, looking at DK pricing, 3 most expensive pitchers today, 10K and above. Yu Darvish at home against the Brewers. Zach Wheeler at home against the, almost said the Dolphins, against the Marlins. And Sean Manaea at home against the Angels. So just looking at these 3 guys, I think Yu Darvish is definitely interesting here against the Brewers. If we take a look at this Brewers lineup, this lineup has changed a pretty good amount in terms of their lineup from last year. It's still a really good lineup. They did lose Mike Moustakas, who is a very excellent hitter, especially against right-handed pitching. But they did add Eric Sogard, who is someone that really doesn't strike out at all. He's going to put the ball in play. If you're taking pitchers against the Brewers, you don't want Eric Sogard in the lineup just because he's not the best hitter, but he won't strike out, and strikeouts are king in MLB DFS. Sogard's a contact hitter. Christian Yelich, we know, is one of the best hitters in the league. Keston Hiura is a pretty good talented prospect as well, pretty good young hitter. Justin Smoke, shown power from the when he's batting right or left-handed, excuse me. Ryan Braun, we know what he'll do. But Avisel Garcia, they did add to this team, a power hitter from the right side. Will strike out a lot, but definitely has power. Omar Narvaez, I would say, is probably a top 10 hitting catcher in this league. I mean, I know there's not a ton of great hitting catchers, at least, when you factor in like homers and stuff, batting average, some of the best hitters in the league are not really from the catcher position. But Omar Narvaez is a pretty good hitting catcher. Definitely an upgrade from, or not really an upgrade, but because they did lose Yasmani Grandal. Those were the 2 big losses for this Brewers team. They lost Mike Moustakas, they lost Yasmani Grandal, but they did add Justin Smoke. They did add Eric Sogard, who doesn't strike out. They added Avisel Garcia, who's a power hitter. Omar Narvaez is a good hitting catcher. So this is still a really good lineup. Tough spot here for Yu Darvish, but this is a guy that has a ton of strikeout upside. I think, though, when you factor in the matchup, I would probably prefer Zach Wheeler for a little bit cheaper. Zach Wheeler gets one of the better matchups you can get at home against the Marlins. The Marlins were a team we targeted against a lot last year. Just a really bad lineup. They have made some changes, though. They did add some pieces to this lineup, added Jonathan Villar, Jesus Aguilar, Corey Dickerson, 3 decent hitters, I should say. Dickerson's pretty good from against right-handed pitching. Villar's got speed as well. Will put the ball in play. Aguilar has power. He'll strike out a lot, but he does have some power. But still, 5 through 9, I mean, it's just not a good lineup. There's a lot of strikeouts here. I do like the spot quite a bit for Zach Wheeler. I don't think paying up at pitcher, though, for these 10K and above guys, is going to be, in my core. I like some of these guys in the 8K range that we'll talk about. There's some value I like at pitcher as well today. But just choosing between the 3, I think Wheeler's my favorite. Darvish second favorite, especially if Darvish is going to come in at low ownership, because Darvish just has so much strikeout upside. He really showed it at the end of last season. I mean, can just go out there and get double-digit Ks, 14 strikeouts, 13 strikeouts, 12 Ks. I mean, this is a guy that has, I think, a 30% K rate against righties, if I'm not mistaken. I know it's up there. Great strikeout pitcher. There are some Ks in this Brewers lineup. Still a tough lineup, but you can get strikeouts from Hiura. Keston Hiura will strike out. Avisel Garcia, talked about him. He'll strike out. Arcia will K as well. Sogard won't really strike out. Yelich will put the ball in play. We know he doesn't strike out much, and he's a great hitter overall. Justin Smoke, much better from the left side, which he will be batting from the left side today. Ryan Braun still has some talent. Better against lefties, but still solid against righties. So I think when you do factor in the matchup, I prefer Zach Wheeler over Darvish. If you're playing a lot of lineups, though, I would want to get exposure to Yu Darvish, especially if he's going to come in at low ownership, which I imagine he will be. Sean Manaea against the Angels, I doubt I go there. This Angels team has just a really good top 4. I mean, their top 4 arguably are top 3-4 hitters are some of the best in the league. Now, Anthony Rendon was not in the lineup Friday night, which was weird. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if he's hurt or not, but when you have a 2-3-4 of Anthony Rendon, Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, I mean, that's 3 of the best hitters in this league, in my opinion, especially Trout and Rendon when you factor in versus left-handed pitching. The lineup gets much worse, though, after you get past those guys with like Albert Pujols, who's towards the end of his career, Jason Castro, Anderson Simmons. Doesn't strike out much, but not the best hitter overall, Brian Goodwin. Low run total for the Angels at 4.1 implied runs. I just don't know if I really get to Manaea. I think I'd prefer Wheeler. I think Wheeler gives you more upside. This Marlins team, although they did make some changes to their lineup, this was a team we targeted a lot last year with opposing pitching. And you see in the K rate, I mean, last year, 8th in terms of strikeouts versus righties at 24.9%, 8th most strikeouts versus right-handed pitching last year. Really good spot for Zach Wheeler. I do like him quite a bit. But some of these other pitchers, I think in this mid-range, this is where we can find some really good options. And one guy that stands out to me a lot is Lance McCullers. Lance McCullers is $8,500 on Draftkings. I like him a lot on both sites. He's very affordable over on Yahoo as well. Over here, he's only $33. One thing worth noting, Sean Manaea, also $33. So I think if I was going to play Sean Manaea today, it would probably be over on Yahoo at that salary. But looking at McCullers here, I think this is a great spot for him against the Mariners. The Mariners are going to be a team we target a lot this season with opposing pitching. I feel like they're going to be, how last season's Marlins were. That's going to be this season. Last season's Marlins are going to be this season, the Mariners this season. This is just a really bad lineup, up and down. I mean, there's just not a lot of power. There are a lot of strikeouts in this lineup as well. You see it with the run total, low in 3.7 implied run total, which I believe is the lowest on the slate. Lance McCullers is a heavy favorite. He looked really good in his I think it was an inter-squad game he pitched, or a scrimmage he pitched in, threw 76 pitches, only allowed 1 run, 4 hits, struck out 6 guys over 5 innings. He, like I said, threw 76 pitches, which is good. I would say that means he can probably go 85 to 90 pitches today. He is coming off Tommy John surgery. He did not pitch at all in 2019, so this is his first time pitching since last year, or since 2018. But when this guy is healthy, I mean, Lance McCullers has elite upside. He has a great curveball that he gets a lot of swings and misses on. I think if we can get 90 pitches from Lance McCullers, especially at 8,500 when you factor in the discount you get off of guys like Wheeler, Darvish, $2,000 cheaper than Darvish, like, sign me up for Lance McCullers today as a heavy favorite and a great matchup. This Mariners team really didn't make a ton of changes to their lineup. I mean, it's kind of the same lineup they had last year. Lost a few guys, but like Seager, Vogelbach, Nola, Crawford, Smith, Shed Long, like all these guys were on the team last year. Evan White, not really sure who he is. Kyle Lewis, don't really know who that is. Jose Marmoleos, I don't know who that is, but pretty much the same lineup they had last year, not a ton of changes. And if you look at their numbers last year versus righties, I believe they were towards the top of the league in K rate. If I can find Seattle, yeah. 4th in K rate, 25.8% versus right-handed pitching. Just not a good lineup. A lot of strikeouts. Like this spot a lot for Lance McCullers. I think he's going to pitch really well in his first start back from Tommy John. Looked good in that scrimmage. I expect him to keep the momentum going in this matchup. So sign me up for some Lance McCullers on both sides today. I like him quite a bit. And then some other pitchers we can target. So right now, as I'm recording this video on Friday night, we don't know yet who's the confirmed starter for the Dodgers. I saw on MLB.com that it was Julio Urias. Yahoo right now has it as Julio Urias as well. They have him checked as a starter. Draftkings, however, has it as Alex Wood. And if you read this blurb right here, it says, manager Dave Roberts confirmed that Wood would start the Dodgers' 3rd game of the season, which I believe will be tonight. Will be Saturday because the Dodgers played Thursday night. They're playing Friday night. So Wood should get the start here. I'm assuming he's the one that starts. At 7,800, assuming he can go, 85, 90 pitches, which I think is going to be the max for a lot of guys this year. I don't think we're going to see guys throw 110, 120 pitches in a short season like this where wins are very important. You're not really going to stretch your pitchers like more than you need to. So getting 90 pitches out of a guy is pretty good this season, in my opinion. So if we can get like 80, 90 pitches out of Alex Wood, I think it's 7,800. He looks very appealing on DraftKings. Really good matchup against the Giants. The Giants are just another team that just doesn't have that great of a lineup. Their lineup isn't showing on Fantasy Live right now, which is kind of weird, but I might can pull it up on DraftKings. Let me pull up the Giants real quick. This was a team that I targeted against a lot last season. In terms of strikeouts, like, they're not a team that strikes out a ton, but there's just not a ton of good hitters in this lineup. They did add Wilmer Flores, who is good versus lefties, but one of their better hitters, Brandon Belt's on the IL. Evan Longoria, who's decent versus left-handed pitching, he's on the IL. Like Hunter Pence is good versus left-handed pitching, but right now he's listed as day-to-day, so I don't even know if he'll be in the lineup. Yastrzemski's a lefty. Pablo Sandoval, switch hitter, but he's better when he bats versus righties. He's better left-handed. Donovan Solano, not a great hitter. I don't even know who Alberto Avellano is. Tyler Heineman, like these guys are just not good hitters. Really good spot for Alex Wood. I think at 7,800 he looks very appealing. I do prefer McCullers. I think McCullers gives you more upside. But I like Wood quite a bit in that mid-range. Another guy that stands out there. And then if we want to look at some value plays, I think Caleb Smith at 6,900 is like a risky GPP play that you could look to. Smith showed upside last year. This is a guy that showed he can go out there and get double-digit Ks. He started off the season really good, and then towards the end of the season started like really losing it, giving up home runs, not getting a ton of Ks. It'll be interesting to see how he does in his first start. He's very cheap on Draftkings, which I think makes him somewhat appealing. It's a tough matchup, though. I mean, the Phillies have a very good lineup against left-handed pitching, guys that just put the ball in play. If I can find their projected lineup real quick. You got like McCutchen, Hoskins, Real Muto. I mean, those guys are great versus left-handed pitching. Bryce Harper hits lefties. Didi Gregorius, even though it's the negative side of his platoon split, is still a really good hitter. Gene Segura, like this lineup is just good top to bottom. Even when you get towards the bottom, you've got strikeouts with Kingery and Quinn. But those guys have speed. Like if they get on base, I mean, they can steal bases. Tough spot for Caleb Smith. I think there is some upside for him. I would definitely have him in my player pool if I was playing a lot of lineups today. If I'm just playing one lineup, I doubt Caleb Smith makes my one lineup. But if I'm playing a lot of lineups, I would include Smith. I'd prefer him over someone like Steven Matz. Probably would prefer him over Dallas Keuchel as well. Keuchel in a tough spot against a really good Minnesota team that just stacked up their lineup even more. Added Josh Donaldson, who's really good versus left-handed pitching. They have Nelson Cruz. I mean, this is still a very good lineup. I'd probably go to Smith there, just choosing between those guys. Corbin Burns could be interesting as well. Not sure if he's fully stretched out or not. He was a guy that was used a lot in the bullpen last year, I believe. He did make some spot starts, didn't go very deep as well. I mean, you look at his game log, he was throwing like 20, 30 pitches out of the bullpen. Let's see if I can find something in the blurb about how deep he could maybe go into this game. He did have really good stuff last year. He threw very hard. But let's see. I don't know if we really know how deep he can go into this game, which I guess is a pretty big concern. He's cheap, though, at 6,200. He does have upside. The Cubs lineup, it's solid. If we look at their projected lineup, I mean, they have Bryant, Rizzo, Baez, Schwarber, Contreras, Hayward. Pretty much the same lineup they had last year. Victor Caratini, Ian Happ. They did add Nico Hoerner, who I'm not really sure who that is, but I mean, it's still a solid lineup. Corbin Burns is cheap, though. He has some upside. If he's fully stretched out, I have a little bit of interest in him. But I think my favorite value pitcher, honestly, is Martin Perez. He's only 5,500 on DraftKings. Looks very appealing in my eyes. At home here against the Orioles, really good matchup versus an Orioles team that, kind of like the Marlins, we picked on a lot last year. At least I picked on a lot last year. We'll take a look at their splits last season versus left-handed pitching, because they were definitely a team, I mean, versus righties, lefties, it really didn't matter. This was a team that you wanted to take pitchers against. They struck out a lot. They just didn't put the ball in play. Just wasn't a great lineup. Looking at their K rate last season versus lefties, 10th most in the league at 23.8%. Looking at their lineup for tomorrow, their projected lineup, pretty much the same guys. They did add Jose Iglesias over the offseason, a guy that doesn't strike out much, puts the ball in play. Not someone you want. Martin, like, you don't want your pitcher facing just because he's like one of those pesky hitters that puts the ball in play. But there are a lot of strikeouts here with guys like Chris Davis, Rio Ruiz, lefty on lefty, DJ Stewart, lefty on lefty. Santander's a solid hitter. Austin Hayes has some power. But still, it's just not that good of a lineup. Pretty heavy favorite here. Martin Perez is at minus 194. If he can go 5 innings, it's very likely he's able to get in line for a win. Given that the Red Sox have a 5.9 implied run total, should be able to do a lot of damage against Alex Cobb. I do have some interest in Martin Perez, especially at his price tag. Looks like he did pitch very well in his scrimmage, through 80 pitches, through 52 strikes, only allowed 3 hits, no walks. He struck out 6 guys over 6 shutout innings, which is very, very good. That's what we like to see. Perez, just reading the blurb here, it said he found his cutter, which he had problems with in earlier intra-squad games, and that was the difference Monday. found a pitch that worked for him. His cutter was a pitch, I believe, last year that when it was on, he could definitely get a lot of swings and misses. We saw Perez have some big games last season. He's definitely more of a boom-bust kind of guy. Like, he got blown up last season at times, but he also had games where he would go out there and pitch 6 shutout innings, get 8, 9 strikeouts. I think we could see that from Martin Perez. And at 5,500, I like him a lot, especially on DraftKings. I don't think you need to go out there on Yahoo. If you're playing the all-day slate, Perez is available. If you're playing the main slate, though, that game is not included in the main slate. I doubt I would go to Perez on Yahoo, just with how their pricing is. Yahoo's usually a site I like to pay up for both of my pitchers if possible. And we'll talk about a guy that I like over on Yahoo in a minute. But going back to DraftKings, Martin Perez, 5,500. I do like him a good amount here. Looking at his splits last season, versus righties, he did struggle. Did give up a 353 WOBA to righties, but was really good against lefties. Only a 260 WOBA to lefties. I believe there's four lefties in the projected lineup. Lefties that all will strike out versus left-handed pitching. His K rate's not great, only 18% to both sides of the plate. But like I said, he's 5,500. It's a good matchup. That's really one of the main reasons I'm looking to target Martin Perez here. And it seems he's fully stretched out, given that he was able to pitch, or given that he was able to throw 80 pitches in their last scrimmage. So I like Martin Perez. And that's probably it for value pitchers in terms of cheap guys. If I'm going cheap, Perez is my dude for sure. In the mid-range, I like Lance McCullers. I like Alex Wood, assuming he's starting. I think you can go to Corbin Burnes as well if we can get an update on what his pitch count's going to be. If he can throw maybe 80, 85 pitches, I do have some interest in Corbin Burnes at his price tag. If you're paying up, my favorite guy is Zach Wheeler at the top. I do prefer him over you, Darvish. For tournaments, though, I think Darvish makes sense given just how much K upside he has. Don't really like much in the 9K range, though, like Mike Minor, Adam Wainwright, Max Fried. I don't really see myself going to those guys. Matt Shoemaker probably won't go there. John Gray, doubt I get there. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for pitcher. We'll go over to Yahoo, though, talk about one guy that I do like over here. Now, I mentioned this at the beginning of the video. Yahoo's main slate is a little bit different from DraftKings. They are including some of the later night games, and the Detroit-Cincinnati game is on the Yahoo main slate. So Luis Castillo, someone I want to talk about over on Yahoo, is only $45, which is a very appealing price tag, especially when you factor in this matchup against the Tigers, another team that's just not good at all versus right-handed pitching. This was a team that we targeted against a lot last season, and we'll take a look at their splits last season versus right-handed pitching. Their K rate led the league in K rate, 26.6%. Batting average, you look at batting average, they were towards the bottom of the league, 235 batting average against righties. Their ISO, very low as well. Really no power versus righties, a 149 ISO. Really good spot for Luis Castillo. I believe this Tigers lineup didn't make a ton of changes over the offseason either. It's still the same pretty bad lineup that they were rolling out last season. We'll take a look at it, though, real quick. Goodrum was on the team last season, but Jonathan Scope they did add. A guy that has some power, a decent hitter. CJ Cron as well, a decent hitter. Cameron Maben, decent hitter, but these aren't guys that you're going to be scared taking a opposing pitcher against, especially an elite pitcher like Luis Castillo. This is a guy that just has so much upside, gets a ton of strikeouts. I could pull up his strikeout rate real quick if you guys would want to see it. Let me see. We'll go to Fangraphs real quick. Look at Castillo's number. An elite pitcher has, I believe, over a 30% K rate against righties, especially last season. I know he got a ton of strikeouts versus right-handed hitters. We'll pull it up real quick, though, just so you guys can see. I should have had this already pulled up. Be a little bit more professional. But let's go to splits. We'll look at his stats from last season. Only allowed a 256 WOBA to righties, which is really, really good. Looking at the home run numbers, 0.86 home runs per 9 to righties, 27.9% K rate to righties, near 30% K rate to lefties. In this projected lineup, there's going to be 6 righties, so really good spot for Luis Castillo. If you're playing Yahoo, and that since they have that game on the main slate, I think Luis Castillo looks like one of the best pay-up options on the Yahoo main slate. And I guess if you're playing the late night slate on DraftKings, then Luis Castillo would for sure be someone I would look to target over there as well. But we've covered pitching. I know I've been talking for a while. I kind of talked more than I wanted to. I did want to try and keep these videos a little bit shorter. We talked a while about pitching, but let's go ahead and look at bats now. We'll talk about some teams I'm looking to stack, individual hitters that I like quite a bit. We'll start off With the Astros, so the Astros are a team that I really like a ton tonight. I mean, it's hard not to, given their 6 implied run total against Taijuan Walker. Taijuan Walker, a couple years back, I mean, back in like 2015, 2016, I know he was decent, but had Tommy John surgery, didn't pitch at all, I believe, in 2019, or maybe pitched a few innings. Really just hasn't been the same pitcher over the last few years. He's never really been an elite pitcher by any means, never been that good. And especially as of late, just the last few years, he's really gone downhill. This is a great spot for the Astros. We see it in the run total. And this is just such a good lineup, top to bottom, so much power. Not many strikeouts either, especially like 1 through 6. I mean, their 1 through 6 is arguably the best in the league, up there with the Yankees in terms of top of the lineup. And just looking at a couple guys on Draftkings, I think Michael Brantley at 4K, getting the platoon advantage, facing the righty. He looks really good as a cheap option in the outfield. Only $4,000 for playing for a team with a 6 implied run total makes him really stand out. This is a guy that obviously better versus right-handed pitching, gets the platoon advantage. Very favorable matchup against a pitcher that's not good at all, that's on the decline in my opinion. Like Michael Brantley quite a bit. Also think Alex Bregman looks like a great option. I mean, you really can't go wrong with any of these top guys from the Astros. One of the reasons I like going down to Martin Perez at pitcher is because it allows you to fit in this Astros stack, the 1 through 4, especially the top 3 guys. I mean, all 5K and above. Springer, Altuve, Bregman, all very expensive. If you want to get them in your lineup, I mean, you're going to have to go cheap at pitcher. There is some value here towards the bottom. Brantley looks like a clear value at 4K. But really, this lineup overall, especially the top, I'm looking to stack today. Astros are for sure one of my favorite stacks. Love Brantley, love Bregman. I think Springer's a great play. Altuve is a great play if you can pay up for him. The Astros should just mash Taijuan Walker. I don't see how he gets out of this without giving up at least a few home runs. We can look at his career numbers. Like I said, he used to be decent, but really not the same pitcher that he was. His home runs, gave up a 1.34 throughout his career, 1.34 home runs per 9. Has about a 20% K rate to both sides of the plate, which is just kind of average, mediocre at best. I do like this spot a ton for the Astros. I expect they will be somewhat popular. Maybe not, though, because they're so expensive. I don't know if people are going to go like Perez and then Astros stack. I don't know if that's going to be a popular route. Maybe it will be, which could make you want to like maybe pivot away in tournaments if that's going to be a route that a lot of people take, but I don't think it is. I think people might be scared away from Perez. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he'll be popular, but I like going down to Perez at pitcher, paying up for the Astros bats because I think they are in a great spot today. Really like them here against Taijuan Walker. And then another team I want to talk about is the Red Sox. I think the Red Sox, I mean, they're going to be a clear stack. They were a clear stack Friday night. I believe they were the most popular stack. And as I'm recording this video, they're going off. I believe they have 10 runs through like the third or fourth inning. And they're in a great spot again come Saturday, facing Alex Cobb, who really is just not good at all. We'll take a look at his splits. I mean, Alex Cobb really has never been good, and especially like towards this point in his career, just a guy we definitely want to look to stack against. Looking at his numbers from 2018, he didn't pitch much in 2019, but in 2018 allowed a 359 WOBA to righties, 330 to lefties, gave up plenty of home runs, especially to righties, gave up more home runs to righties than lefties, which is kind of surprising. Usually right-handed pitchers struggle more to lefties, but Cobb actually struggled more to righties. 1.7 home runs per 9, really no strikeouts either, just 13% K rate to righties, 17% to lefties. Great spot here for the Red Sox. I like all their guys. I mean, lefties, righties, it doesn't really matter. The top of the lineup looks really good with Benintendi, JD, Devers. Bogart's expensive, but again, paying down for Martin Perez at pitcher is going to allow you to fit in these guys. You got some cheaper bats though with like Mitch Moreland at 4.3K. Kevin Pillar, we saw him bat 5th on Friday night. He's only 3.9K. Jackie Bradley's 3.7K. Jose Peraza, although he's batting 9th, still a cheap value you could look to target in your stack. Really want to try and get in a lot of Red Sox, and one guy that stands out the most is Andrew Benintendi. Leading off, gets the platoon advantage, only 3.9K. Looks like one of the best outfield value plays, just in my opinion. I think he will be somewhat popular, which is kind of scary. Usually I always like to fade hitter chalk in MLB DFS. Just hitter chalk's not usually something you want to eat. I'm fine eating pitcher chalk. I think if I think a pitcher's in a great spot and he's popular, I'll just play him. But if hitters are popular, usually you can get away from that because it's such a variant, or hitter scores are so variant. Mike Trout, even in the best possible matchup, could go 0 for 4 and nobody would be surprised. So maybe if Benintendi gets like crazy ownership, like if he's going to come in at 30% owned or something, then I could see getting away from that. But looks like a really good value, especially if you're playing like cash games. If you play MLB cash, you probably should have Andrew Benintendi in your cash lineup tomorrow, I would assume, or you should have him, I would say. In this Red Sox team, looks like one of the top stacks for me in terms of just projected runs. Now, ownership-wise, that will be pretty popular, but you can get different. Play some of the guys at the bottom of the lineup. Pay up for someone like maybe Bogarts at 5K. Maybe people won't play him at that price tag. Devers at 5.6K. Maybe people won't go there because he's so expensive. You can definitely get different. You can still roster a chalky stack and find ways to get different. It's just how MLB goes. People will roster the top 3, 4, or 5 hitters, and then the bottom of the lineup guys get no ownership, and it doesn't really matter. I mean, if the Red Sox score 12 runs, the bottom of the lineup guys could be the guys that produce the runs. You never really know. So don't leave out Pilar, JBJ, Peraza. Don't leave those guys out of your Red Sox stacks. Always include the whole lineup, in my opinion, especially like if you use an optimizer, you want to include the 1 through 9. I like the Red Sox as well on Yahoo. They're not on the main slate, but if you're playing like the early slate, you could obviously go there. One team, though, that I do like on the Yahoo main slate that's not on the Draftkings main slate are the Reds. This game not included on DK. I think the Reds are in a great spot here against Ivan Nova. I mean, Ivan Nova just never really been a good pitcher, especially at this point in his career. Just looking at his numbers last season versus lefties, 347 WOBA versus righties, 355 WOBA. Got no strikeouts at all. I mean, 14% K rate to both sides of the plate. Gave up 1.63 home runs per 9 to lefties, 1.2 to righties. Just a soft tosser that doesn't get a lot of strikeouts, gives up a lot of hard contact. And that's not going to suit well in Great American Ballpark against this really good Reds lineup. A Reds team that added Mike Moustakas, added Nick Castellanos, 2 really, really good hitters, in my opinion. I think, especially Mike Moustakas, he looks really good at only $16 on Yahoo. I like him quite a bit at second base. Just a guy that does really well against right-handed pitching, gets the platoon advantage against a soft toss and lefty. I like him a ton. I think Joey Votto really stands out as well. He's only $11 at first base, so this red stack, very appealing, very affordable as well. You got Phillip Ervin projected lead off, and he's minimum salary. Suarez and Castellanos are expensive, but you've got value to round it out. Davidson projected back 6 is only $8. Like we talked about, Moose is only $16. There's plenty of value here. Really good 5.4 implied run total, so they're getting the respect from Vegas. I like Castillo in this game, and I like the red stack as well. I think the Reds are definitely a team I'm going to be looking to target heavily on Yahoo, where that game is included in their main slate. And then one last team we'll talk about that's also not included on DraftKings but is included on Yahoo is the Indians. I think the Indians are in a really good spot here against Brady Singer. Now Brady Singer, I believe he is a prospect. I think he was like a top 20 pick in the 2018 draft is what I read earlier. Making his MLB debut here. We'll take a look at his AAA numbers. Really nothing elite. I mean, just looking at his numbers overall from last season, 22% K rate in AAA. Didn't give up a ton of home runs, but when you're not getting like elite Ks in AAA, that's not really going to suit well in the majors, especially in facing a team like Cleveland that has a ton of good hitters, especially at the top of their lineup. They added Cesar Hernandez, who's not like a power hitter, but puts the ball in play, doesn't strike out much. They still have Ramirez, Lindor, Santana, Reyes, who all have plenty of power. Domingo Santana they added as well, who will strike out a lot, but he has a lot of power, especially against lefties. Facing a righty today, but I like this Indians team quite a bit. I think Francisco Lindor, probably my favorite option here. Only $19 on Yahoo at shortstop. We didn't really spend much at pitcher, so we have plenty of room for expensive bats if you do want to go that route, especially if you're looking to stack the Reds. All the value they have in that lineup with like Phillip Ervin, Matt Davidson we talked about. You can fit in McCullers, Castillo, and fit in a red stack and an Indian stack pretty comfortably, in my opinion, if you just play some of those value guys. And one guy like from the Indians quite a bit is Francisco Lindor, just an elite hitter. I mean, from both sides of the plate, versus lefties, versus righties, has a ton of power, puts the ball in play, can steal bases, just gives you a ton of upside. And facing a prospect in his first major league start, his MLB debut, I expect him to struggle a good amount. I think the Indians can rough him up, and Lindor looks like a really good option at shortstop for only $19. But that's kind of what I'm looking at for bats today. We talked about some teams I'm looking to stack. We talked about just some hitters overall that I like. I do want to give you guys some home run calls. I said at the beginning of the video that I was going to do that, so I'll probably give one. I'll give 2 home run calls. I'll maybe give like an expensive one and then a cheap one. So I want to try and include a game that's on both Yahoo and Draftkings, which is kind of tough since their slates are a little bit different. Let's see. Let me see if I can find a game, or a team, I should say, that's on both slates. So let's see here. The Astros, yes. So the Astros are on. Okay, the Astros are on both slates. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna go with someone from the Astros for sure. An expensive home run. Obviously, it needs to be Bregman. Yeah, it needs to be Bregman for sure. Since I include him in the early core, Alex Bregman's gonna be my expensive home run call, and then we'll do a value at home run call as well. I'll go ahead and give that one. It's not on the Yahoo main slate, but Andrew Benintendi is gonna be my value call, 4K and below. I wanted to give like a expensive guy, maybe 5K and above, and then 4K and below. So my expensive home run for tonight's slate, Alex Bregman, and then my cheap home run value guy, 4K and below, is going to be Andrew Benintendi. I know Benintendi and the Red Sox are not on the Yahoo main slate, but if you want to get some exposure to Benintendi and you play on Yahoo, then you can look to roster him. I believe they have like an all-day slate that you could play, but that's what I'm liking for Saturday night slate. I know this video was pretty long. I'm going to try and shorten these up as I get more comfortable making videos again. It's been a very long time since I've recorded a video, since I've been on camera making DFS content, but it feels good to be back, man. I'm ready to start uploading videos daily again. Just trying to put out the best content I can. I'm going to be active on Patreon as well, so if you are a Patreon subscriber, I will start posting over there. I'll have some core plays, updated core plays posted for this Saturday night slate, or for this Saturday afternoon slate, I should say. I will also be in the Discord chat, so if you ever want to talk to me, talk lineup construction, if you ever need to ask questions, you can always hit me up in Discord if you're a Patreon member. But yeah, guys, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any feedback, please leave it down below in the comment section. Hit the like button on your way out the door. Hit the subscribe button as well if you did enjoy. And I think that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Peace.